Hi, Eddie Murray, former Detroit Lion. Make sure you watch Mike on Mike on YouTube.
What's going on YouTube? This is your boy Mr. Micro Mike, and today we're going to talk about grades of the Detroit Lions versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Before I get into the video, if you have not been to my channel, please subscribe down below. Also, I do live shows, part of the DSA, Tuesday and Thursdays, as well as create Lions content all the time, and do live play-by-play on game day. Hit the bell for all my notifications, leave me a comment and tell me what you think about the grades of the Lions. Let's go ahead and start with the quarterback position. Mr. Matthew Stafford, he had 201 yards passing, a touchdown, and he received 0 sacks and 0 interceptions. I'm going to give Mr. Matthew Stafford a C+ to a B-, somewhere right in there. The reason I feel that he did not get the greatest of all grades is he missed a couple of throws, a couple to Marvin Jones that would have basically ended the game at the end of the game, where we could have sustained some couple of drives. He missed a pass to Marvin Jones that probably would have resulted in a touchdown if it got to him in the perfect spot. However, I felt like he did really great with pocket presence. It's like he knows when the pass rush is going to get after him. He would leave the pocket and make plays with his feet, resulting in 0 sacks. So I felt like he did some good things, but he did some more things to improve on, and that's okay because we won the game. Let's jump to the wide receiver positions. I'm going to give them a solid A. Man, Marvin Jones Jr. had himself a game. He made a lot of clutch catches, resulting us to continue sustained drives, and he really did a good job. Kenny Galladay made some hard catches, and of course, Mr. Danny Amendola made a very solid and a hard catch to make to sustain a drive. Without those catches, I felt like we wouldn't have won the game. So great job to the wide receivers. When it comes to the tight ends, I'm going to give them a B-. TJ Hawkinson probably could have made a touchdown, even though the ball was stripped out of him. He could have made another touchdown, but the awareness of being out of bounds negated that. However, I did feel they did really good with blocking and helping Matthew Stafford stay upright. Let's jump to the offensive line. I'm giving them a solid A. They did a great job negating the pass rush of the Philadelphia Eagles, and Taylor Decker did a well job, much better than what he did to week 1, and they did a good job. However, they need to do better on opening up the holes for the running game. That is what they did not do well. I feel like they need to do a much better job opening up the holes for Kerryon Johnson and Ty Johnson to make those plays. So, in my opinion, they did well in pass protection, and that's my number one goal when it comes to the offensive line. You have to pass protect. And out of 3 weeks, they've done a phenomenal job at pass protection, even though we had a little bit of help with the tight ends. But that makes me very, very happy. They still need a lot of work to do when it comes to opening the run game, and I believe that will come in due time. And you got to understand that the Philadelphia's defensive line is a good defensive line, and they are known for getting after the quarterback and causing some havoc. So you got to put that in perspective as well. So I'm very happy what I've seen from the offensive line. Let's jump to the running game. I give them a D. They did not do good. It did not help with the ability of holes not being open, but they got to do much better than what they did here. The one play with McKissick, that 40-yard run, was a fantastic play, and it really did help out the stats when it comes to the running game. However, Kerryon Johnson needs to do a better job, and Ty Johnson needs to do a better job in that sense. But again, it doesn't help with the offensive line not opening up the holes, so we got to understand with that the grades. Let's talk about the defensive line. I am giving them a C. They did not do well in pass rush. However, you got to understand again that Mike Daniels did get taken out of the game due to injury, as well as the Eagles' offensive line is a very good offensive line. And at the end, thanks to the coverage of the secondary, we did get a couple sacks on Carson Wentz, and he does have the ability to get out of the pocket, but there's too many times in that game I just felt like, man, they were not getting to the quarterback, and I feel like they're underperforming in that sense. When it comes to stopping the run, they did a okay job. I feel like they can do better. We put a lot of money up front to make sure to stop the run, and they're not living up to the hype they should be. So I'm giving them a C. When it comes to linebacker positions, I felt like they did fairly well. I'm going to give them a solid B. When it comes to, again, with tackles of Tavai, he did a great job. When it comes to Jared Davis, he did knocking the ball out and hitting hard at the end when he hit, I think it was Darren Sproles for that penalty. In my opinion, it was a solid hit. The reason we got a penalty is Darren Sproles is really small, and he brings the passion and he brings the power to that. We got fumbles. That was a great job by Davis by knocking it out, and it really did help with him back in the game. However, what didn't make it the positive is, man, that tight end was beating us and roasting us throughout the game via Eagles, and that is not just the linebackers. They need to stop that, though, as well as that is a safety issue, but they need to do a better job. But again, I feel like the linebackers are actually doing better, and I thought they would so far this year, so I'm very, very happy with that. Let's jump to the secondary. I'm giving this secondary an A, near A+, because Darius Slay went down due to injury. Man, Rashaan Melvin is just a fantastic number 2. He's one of the best corners right now per stats in the NFL. And he is just locking it down on his side, man. You cannot get the ball past Rashaan Melvin. You throw it his way, there's a great chance it's going to get knocked down. Coleman had fantastic plays in there as well, knocking the ball out. And these guys were sticky on the wide receivers like no other. I'm very, very happy what I'm seeing from them. And Darius Slay, when he was in the game, he was sticky as well. Good job. Good job, and let's give a shout out to Mike Ford, who brought in for Darius Slay, and man, he was on his wide receivers. Just a fantastic job by these cornerbacks, and the safeties did well as well. Walker continues to be a stud safety for us, and Diggs as well, but Diggs, you gotta wrap up, my man. You're one of my favorite players. You hit hard, but you need to wrap up. For what they had, I love what I saw. I love what I saw out of that secondary, and they continue to be the strong point of this team. A lot of coverage sacks due to the sticky coverage of that secondary. Let's jump to coaching. Let's start with special teams. I'm giving this a... I was going to give it an A until we had the blocked field goal, so I'm going to give it a B, but a much better job by the special teams coach. We did a lot better on flags when it comes to special teams. Obviously, Jamal Agnew returning it for a touchdown and on a punt return did well. We made all the extra points and all the field goals, but that blocked field goal ruined it for me. And same with special teams grade, it will be the same as well. Again, I would have given it A+, except for that blocked field goal. But a great job overall. Let me jump to the defensive scheme. It did a lot better. In my opinion, I'm going to give this a B+. There's so many times that this team should have done better. I mean, think about this. At the end of the game, they had the ball with a blocked field goal at the 50. We completely shut them down. 2 times on 4th down, we shut them down. Fantastic job by Pasqualoni and Matt Patricia by doing a great job with that defense. It is definitely a bend but not break. But at the end, I mean, we got hurt in the beginning and in the second quarter. But boy, at the end, they were sticky as can be, and they won us that game, no doubt about it. And they did not go prevent. I love that very much. Much better performance. Let me jump to the offensive coordinator, Darrell Bevell. I'm giving this man a B+. I love what he brought. I love that 40-yard run, giving it to the wide receiver to turn around to give it to the running back. I love the play calling that they did. They mixed it up with the pass and run. Fantastic job. However, the reason I didn't get a solid A is, come on with these wide receiver screens. I cannot stand those plays. They just don't work. They don't work. And I felt at the end, they knew that the running game wasn't working, but they kept sticking with it. And I felt they should have been a little more aggressive to get those first downs. definitely. I just felt it could have been a little more aggressive, but a solid B+ overall. I felt like it's much better than what we're used to with KFC. And it's a huge upgrade, and so far so good with the offense and the game plan that Darrell Bevell's bringing. Let's go ahead and jump to the head coach, Mr. Matt Patricia. I'm giving him a solid B+. I felt like the game plan was very solid. Again, just that one timeout on the pass interference that he threw the flag. You got to keep these timeouts at the end. To me, it wasn't good enough to go ahead and throw the flag. If it's in the first half, okay, I can see that, but you got to understand with what could have took place. If they would have scored that field goal at the end, the Eagles, we were going to need those timeouts for Stafford to come back, or if they would have scored a touchdown. So we got to be better at time management. But through week 1, week 2, and week 3, he has progressed. He has gotten better. There's little things he could do better, but I feel that he is getting better, and it's nice to see. Hopefully he continues to grow in that sense. Overall, I'm very happy with the win, folks. We're 2-0-1, and I'm happy about it. It's not the greatest wins. It's not domination, but they're wins. Getting wins on the road is not easy, and I'm happy that we did it against the Philadelphia Eagles. We got a hard one coming up, but it's Tuesday. I'll worry about Kansas City tomorrow. With that said, folks, adios.